with a on the line segment, but ironically, he's here in person. Mr. Scotty Cook, how are you doing, sir?
I am very good, my
friend.
Good to see you.
Good to see you,
Randall.
Yeah, this is a first for us. You're the first in-studio guest that we've had, and thought we might as well start at the top, right?
Well, hey, it's my honor. It's a pleasure. I mean, at least I was good for something. I mean,
yeah.
If I get the honor of being your all's first in-studio guest, I'm doing something right.
That's right. I mean, either we're starting the bar really high or we're starting it really low. You need to tell us.
Somewhere in the middle.
Okay. All right. That'll work. That'll work. So, first of all, appreciate you stopping by.
Absolutely.
Love all the work you do for our racing community, and you've you're a little long in the tooth like I am. Done a great job, but
no doubt about that.
Let's talk a little bit about Scotty Cook, the man, the racer, the myth, the mic, all of that.
Oh my gosh!
Tell us a little bit about how it all started for you, and kind of how it's got us to where we are today.
Well, I have to go back pretty far to tell you where it all started because my grandfather, grandmother. My grandma's niece was married to a gentleman who was a brother to the car owner of the car that Steve Kinzer drove before he went to work for Carl.
Okay, wow.
In Columbia, Missouri.
I did not know this.
There were 4 car owners, and one of the 4 car owners, again, related to my family. That car's still in action. And they are family of mine. It's the 86 car that Timothy Smith out of Rocheport, Missouri drives in Knoxville weekly in the 360 division. So
super cool.
Timothy's grandpa Jerry his brother was Harold, married to grandma's niece, and so it was a weekly trip to the Knoxville Raceway from childhood.
Boy, don't get better than that.
At a very, very young age, and we would we'd get to Knoxville, we'd get home 3 or 4 in the morning, wake up about 10 in the morning, Grandma with her burnt bacon, and get up, go play in the yard for a little while, and then it was time to head to the old Saline County Speedway, about 40 miles up the road in Marshall, Missouri.
Right.
I was ate up with it at a very young age. Well, on my father's side, he was a truck driver.
Okay.
And much like my grandfather, his father was a truck driver / farmer. And I recall after my mother's father, my maternal grandfather, had already got me eaten up in the head with motorsports, with going to Knoxville weekly at a very, very young age. I remember I used to be my dad's sidekick in his dump truck, and used to be in the Lyman fertilizer business prior to that.
All right.
My summer job was riding with my dad, and in the Lyman fertilizer business, you are on someone's farm. That's what you do. You Lyman fertilize farmers' fields, and so my dad paid me 50 cents a gate to be his sidekick to get out and
love it.
But I recall being about maybe 12, 13 years of age, even crying to my dad after I was eaten up with the racing bug at a young age. Dad, I don't know that I want to be a 3rd generation jump truck driver.
Right.
And I'll never forget, he said, boy, you can do anything in this world you want to do.
Good
if
for
you
him.
want to go race, he said, you find out a way to do it and go do it.
Good for
him. And from that very moment on, it burned within me. Those words, I know where we were, and it was just a moment in time to where, okay,
that is
tell
super
me,
cool.
you give me your blessing, and that's what I'm going to do. And well, up until that point, I was I was starting to get old enough to be a mud scraper for the affiliated family racing team, and so I got a little older, and it took many part-time odd jobs here and there, from car rental business to delivering pizzas, trying to figure out a way.
Right.
My first break somewhat, I was traveling out of pocket to a lot of World of Outlaw shows all across the heartland just to some way find a way to get my toe in the door.
Right.
I met up with my old buddy Johnny Gibson, the voice of the World of Outlaws, and Johnny wanted to ask me if I would be interested. Johnny used to be in charge of selling the souvenir programs.
I've heard that. I
traveled around with Johnny selling souvenir programs, and then in 1996 at the Knoxville Nationals, back in the T&N Motorsports Diamond P production days.
Remember those well.
They were looking for help, production assistants, spotters. I got on with them, and in 96, from 96 until Diamond P Productions and T&N went off the air, I believe in 2001, I traveled all over the country and did the NHRA drag racing and World of Outlaw sprint car tour, working production with Diamond P, all the while the non-televised World of Outlaw races. I was selling programs for Johnny, and it was in that time span that I really started to make a lot of connections in the sports. I can't believe that was so long ago now, but those are connections that are still solid today, which helped me propel to where I am. One of the other car owners of the said race car that I explained a little bit earlier owned a repair shop in my hometown of Columbia, Missouri. And he started a 360 sprint car touring series, and he just wanted to help 360 sprint cars. They were starting to thrive about that time back then, and he started what was then the Winged Outlaw Warriors Sprint Cars 360 Sprint Car Series, which eventually became the ASCS Warrior region.
Correct.
His name was Archie Simpson. Bless his heart, Archie, rest his soul. He passed away about 5 years ago, but Archie was the first man back in 2003 who came to me and said, hey, I'm going to need an announcer for my series. You know all them drivers. You know their families. I think I want you to be the one. And I'm like, Archie, I don't know if I could talk in front of people. I was just totally overwhelmed with the stage fright part of it. So he said, well, give her some thought. And I thought about it for a couple weeks. I'm like, well, whatever.
Yeah, what do I have to lose?
You're right. And so the first 4 to 5 weeks at the old Capitol Speedway in Holt Summit, Missouri, I'd have to stop and get me about a 12-pack on the way out of town, and I'd wolf down about 4 or 5 of them just to kill the stage fright. And then about 3 or 4 weeks into that, the track owner, Howard Schrock, came to me and he says, hey, am I going to have to find somebody new to do this? You're so damn drunk before the feature starts. Nobody knows what you're saying. I'm like, no. By then, the stage fright was gone. I was getting good feedback, and I'm like, I don't need to do this anymore. So from that point forward, I never drank. Not that I should have in the first place, but I had to do something to kill the stage fright. So from that point forward, never alcohol while you're working, for sure. But that began a career, and here I am.
And here we are, right?
20-some years later, after spending 12 to 15 on the American Sprint Car Series with Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott. Scott just passed away a few weeks ago, and we're certainly going to miss him. And
definitely.
I owe so much to let alone Archie Simpson, who put a microphone in my hand for the first time. But back in 2006, I met Kirk Elliott and Scott Traylor at the historic half-mile State Fair Speedway in Sedalia, right after they had broadcast their first Chili Bowl audio. And they said, hey, we'd like someone to roam the pits to do this. Would you be interested? So in 2007, I worked my first shootout and Chili Bowl, and the rest is history. And again, I can't believe how quickly time has just flown by. 1 million miles later, and gosh, 40-some states ventured later, right?
It's crazy, but you hit on a few things that I love, and I try to explain this to my friends that are outside of our racing family, and that's what I like to call it. But it's networking and meeting the right people.
Absolutely.
Is 100%, and
110%.
And I think everybody that kind of in our world is this driver and this crew chief, but I've started learning doing what we're doing now with Dirt Crowd and kind of doing the media stuff.
Right.
There is so much that goes on behind the scenes, and there's so many good people that you take for granted that these shows and podcasts and broadcasts and interviews, you don't realize the time and the effort and the energy that goes into that.
No doubt about it.
And how valuable it is to the sport itself. I mean, it's amazing.
And the teams and competitors as well.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Providing the exposure that, to think 10 years ago with the way podcasts and internet technology has developed, it wasn't, but this is all still relatively new to everyone.
Sure.
And an opportunity like this for drivers and teams to get all the exposure that they're able to do with the press of a few buttons now,
crazy.
it wasn't available to us back
crazy.
then. And so it's just, and that's been another thing for me, it was just, back then it was just a public address announcer, and then you venture into the broadcasting aspect of it. You have to learn commercial breaks, talking into the camera, working with the cameraman, communicating with the producer. It's just a whole.
I'm trying to learn that now, but
well, I think you've got a good one.
I do. I'm in good hands.
At the very least, he's got that green screen thing figured out, man.
And look how pretty it looks up there with that Scotty Cook Wheelman Classic
so
on there.
Cool.
Yeah, that's super cool in it. But
I'm tickled about it.
Yeah, I think to your point, the teams and drivers, and for our younger drivers included, the parents, they're starting to understand. It's good and bad, but I think they're starting to understand the value of how important it is what we do outside of the car, not just in the car, right?
It really is.
I mean, you and I have talked about it the other day, but how many talented drivers have we seen, whether it be at Port City or I-44 or Sedalia or wherever, that had a lot of ability, but maybe weren't as refined or polished or had the right people in their corner behind them? We've lost out on a lot of that. You know, in another sport, if you're a quarterback or you're a basketball player or you're a baseball player, doesn't really matter, right? If I'm good, I'm going to get seen by a coach, and then I'm going to get a scholarship, and then if I'm really good, I'm going to go play at a professional level. But in our world, unfortunately, sometimes that's not the case, right? A lot of it has it's pay to play in a lot of instances, but as a driver, you can get better about that, right? It's what we do outside of the car and bringing more eyes and eyeballs and social media and potential partners and sponsors. I think we've got a whole new can that we can open up. And
to that point, it's just like back in the day, if you were a bona fide wheelman, this pre-internet social media days, the guy in the grandstand came down and bought your right rear or bought your fuel next week, or that was your way of gaining exposure and supporters. But now with these young drivers in particular, the new generation that's coming through, they're figuring it out so quickly. You can have all the talent in the world, and you can rip tear-offs, and you can throw slide jobs, and you can win 15 races within the first 3 months of your season, but if you don't have a little bit of charisma and know how to utilize social media to get your face and your brand yourself and get 100%. Yourself out there, that's how you land your supporters. And again, just like we were talking a bit ago, that's just how much this whole game has changed, and it's been really interesting to see how these competitors, particularly the youngsters, have adapted to it. And then you look on up into the major league ranks of open wheel racing and sprint cars, and you've got guys like Tanner Holmes and David Gravel, or in a more regional aspect like Ayrton Jennington. They're figuring out that, hey, 100%. I've got to make this a part of my whole package. I can be as good as I think I am or as everybody else thinks I am, but if I don't figure out how to get myself exposure, I'm not going to get supporters. 1,000,000%. The days of the guy coming out of the stands and giving you $500 just to put his name on the side of the car are over, right? I mean, now sponsors and partners want, hey, what's my return on investment? Right. How are you going to help me sell my product? How many people are going to see my logo? All that stuff.
And the guys that are good at it, the Brian Browns and the Rico Abreu's of the world, have it mastered, right? It's not about just being in victory lane. You're a direct representation of that company, partner, sponsor, whatever you want to call them.
The guys that got on that trailblazers of having that figured out very early and very often. The two best that I ever knew of when it started trending in that direction were, you just mentioned Brian Brown. Blackjack Brian Brown, he's got it figured out. That man can
100%.
represent anyone and does a very fine job doing it. And another guy that did it so very well and picked up so very many sponsors just by being himself, let alone one of the most talented drivers that there ever was, Jason Johnson.
100%.
He had,
yes.
He just sponsors left and right all over the country. And then you move on into the next era, no doubt about it, hands down, Rico Abreu. He's got it all figured out.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess it's easy for some of those guys to have the light bulb go on and realize, hey, this is what I got to do. And other guys, it takes a little bit of charisma to
100%.
to be able to, let alone do what you need to do on social media, but also represent your supporters as well.
Well, you know, and it's weird. We were talking about these young kids that are starting to figure that part out. But some of them, that generation, it's a lost art of what you and I are doing, right? Being able to sit down and talk and introduce myself and eye to eye and have a personality, that goes a long way. That goes to what you're saying with the Jason Johnsons of the world, right? You have to have charisma. You're a representation of my brand and yours. I tease everybody about this all the time. I honestly think today, if Brian Brown got out of the seat, he could line up enough sponsors to field 4 or 5 outlaw teams. They would line up. They would line up.
He's the master of it, man.
He really is.
So, but yeah, it's been interesting over the last few years, having been around the game for so long, seeing this transition that we're going through. And I think it's kind of a refreshing shot in the arm. You know, not good for some promoters, you know. People can sit at home and watch it at home on TV, which is, we could venture into another
that's a whole other can of worms,
right?
Yep.
But it's just a different era that we're in that I was brought into, for sure.
1,000,000%. And the ones that understand that and realize that there are other avenues now, there's other revenue streams now, those are the ones that can get ahead of the ball game, so to speak. Obviously, we've got to be decent in the seat as well. We're not saying that, but you know, it's funny because when we first started Dirt Crowd, I sat down with Shane and Jen, and Shane was like, you know, this just makes so much sense to me now, because when I was young, I didn't have somebody that laid out a blueprint for me of, hey, this is
the new trend in the new era.
Right. Yeah. You know, so our platform is dedicated to everybody. It don't matter if you're Rico Abreu at the high end of our driver list, or you're Levi Ballard or Jet Nunley that we just talked to. We're so blessed with so much young talent, but what we try to do is bridge that gap and understand it's valuable for you to learn to interact with fans, to interact with partners and sponsors. You never know who's walking through that pit area. You never know who's watching you. And we've all said it 100 times.
This is true, too.
Now we're the old heads, and I didn't listen to somebody my age back then because you think they don't know. And now I'm that creepy old guy that's like, hey, you need to worry about your credit score, and you need to do this. But it's right. It's the truth. If you did it when we were young, we'd all be a little bit better off. But I think we're so blessed and fortunate, not only at the sprint car level or the midget level. We have so many teams that roll into a pit area with great equipment, great crew chiefs, great car owners. We're so blessed at every level, where it's sprint cars, midgets, micros. I don't know the late model stuff so much, but I've started getting into it now that Kyle and some other drivers are over there. I love what they do. I was kind of blind to it until I've seen it lately, but how they promote that product, their product and their drivers, is fantastic. And I wish we would take a little bit of that over to our side of the neck of the woods, you know, for the open wheel stuff. But I just think that we're so blessed, and, you know, leaning towards the micro stuff. We just had Jet Nunley and Chase DeMarco and Levi Ballard, and we've got the Cash McCombs of the world. I mean, you've got all of this young talent. It's easy to just take it for granted. I don't think people realize how lucky we are and how bright the future is. We're super lucky, and in that respect, I think that leads us right into the Scotty Cook Wheelman Classic. I mean, what could be cooler than that?
Well, you know, in relation to what you just said is kind of what fueled me to. I've been wanting to do this for a couple of years, and were it not for my dear friends Matt Ward and Terry Maddox, who propelled me and said, hey, just let us know when,
Right.
just do it.
Yeah, wing it. Yeah.
I promoted a factory stock race, I believe I told you earlier, back in 2009 and 10 on the tractor pull arena at my county fairgrounds. I don't know, it was like a $3,000 purse, 500 to win. And I did it one year, did it the second year. For the amount of money that I made versus the legwork that it took to put into making it come off, I told myself I'll never do this again.
The hardest money ever made.
Right, it really was. But back then, that was before I had ventured 1 million miles across the country and gained all of the connections and contacts and networking that you mentioned, and sponsors and supporters. One of the biggest blessings along my journey, I could have never stayed afloat doing what I do based on the money that I make just doing what I do.
Right.
There have been supporters that have been with me for pushing 20 years now, and you never go to the well too many times. You respect anyone that takes it upon themselves that wants to support you. So when you have something applicable that can go to them, that they're there, and establishing a really good relationship with so many supporters over the years, and that's come through Matt Ward giving me a blessing to do a pre-race show at the Chili Bowl, or a move-in day show at the Expo, or Jason Reed up there at the Knoxville Raceway lets me do a daily recap there during the Nationals. And so just to be able to do all that stuff, it kind of ties in with my passion always have been sprint cars, 360 or 410, it doesn't matter, but totally. I've been I'm right there with you, passionate about sprint cars. And were it not for Terry and all of my years in working in the Tulsa shootout, there's something really, really cool that I find so special, and I take it very dear to my heart, that some of these guys who are bona fide sprint car stars, I was interviewing them at the shootout when they were like just 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old in the junior sprint class, and now they're bona fide stars of the sport. And it's been a constant, and so the time has come. It's time to do it. You're surrounded by wonderful people that can make it happen, plus some wonderful supporters that can make it happen, and you forged a really, really good relationship with not 2 or 3 or 4, but so many of these micro teams and families and kids that you're seeing growing up. We were just talking a moment ago about Jet Nunley. That boy doesn't even look like he did 6 months ago at the Tulsa
It's crazy.
Shootout.
We've got to change his picture on here.
Growing so quick, and that's one of the most special things to me. And once I'll admit, I never really was a fan of micros until I started going and witnessing some pretty damn good racing. And then once I started embracing it a little bit, one of my biggest regrets in life came with being a career bachelor and never being married.
Right.
I never had kids.
Right.
And I wish that I would have had 1 or 2 along the way, maybe.
Sure.
Had I done so, I'd have never been able to venture down this path and stay committed to it.
Sure.
But with that, the silver lining in all of it is the growing close to all these youngsters and competitors and their families. It's like I've got 100 kids that are kind of like,
no doubt.
And I take so much pride when I take for instance a young Ryder McCutcheon, a past National Open Wheel 600 Series champion.
Right.
This young man at 15 has jumped in to a full-blown 410 sprint car, and he's not just hoping to make it into the back of the show.
No.
The boy's running second in the point standings.
I know, he's wheeling the hell out of it.
And he is a flat-ass wheelman.
Yep, 100%.
And he is just one example. You can talk about Carson Bolden.
Yep.
He is getting well, and it's just...
Yeah, Jude Allgaier. I mean,
Jude Allgaier, Elijah Guile. We could just name them off
we're
one
so
at a
blessed.
time.
It's unreal.
And so these youngsters, just the way they're coming through this feeder system, the now 600 Series is such a very good feeder system to send them in whatever direction that they want to go, whether it be midget 305, 360, 410, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
They've got to learn somewhere. And we're starting to see, Terry's had this series for so long now, we're starting to see past champions, as we mentioned before, or past competitors from his series that are bona fide stars of the sprint car world.
It's
now.
unreal. We had Ryan Timms on just last week.
There's another one.
It's funny because I talked to my friend. I've got a really good friend of mine, Pat Rinkin, that lives up in Lamar's, and he's really lucky. He gets to go to Knoxville every Saturday. He goes to Huset's every Sunday, and it's funny because we've got the Ryan Timms, the Dason Pursleys, and now we got Reese Moran. And I try to tell him, when Ryan was first going up there, I'm like, Pat, I'm telling you, in my mind, and I think I've discussed it with Shane and some other people, in my mind, watching the micro guys at Port and how quick they're making the decisions, and you're always in lap traffic, to me it correlates in the A class or the non-wing car at Port to the 410 or 360 at Huset's. And I tried to explain that to Pat and some of those guys up there. I'm like, hey guys, when our guys start running up there at Huset's, it's natural for them. I mean, you watch Ryan run at Huset's, he almost gets faster as he gets into lap traffic.
No doubt about it.
And I think the competition's so good at a young age. To your point, now 600, Port City, I-44, when they run out at Creek County, these kids are so good and they're learning to make split-second decisions, and they're always in lap traffic that it kind of, I don't want to say it becomes old hat because we're talking about a 900 horsepower sprint car, which, is unreal, but the talent they start acquiring at such a young age, it's amazing. I just get excited talking about it, to your point, because I can remember when Shane was that big. I can remember when Darren was that big. Christopher Bell, all these guys, it's amazing to see them go on and have the success that they have had in the car and outside the car. To me, that's a lot of it. We a buddy and I used to own some micros, and we had Jeffrey Newell in the car, and love Jeffrey.
Bonafide wheelman.
Just deluxe.
That boy can flat get after
He
it.
can, 100%. And to see him having the success he has now, not only in the car, but him and Shelby in life. And I used to tell him, I said, Jeffrey, I'm more excited for you as a young adult to what you're doing outside of the car than I am in it. I've seen you do it in it 100 times, right?
Yeah.
But to see them go on and be business owners and have strong relationships, that's the kind of stuff I like, because the stuff we talk about, and we talk about raising these kids, and we're all a big family, and Dirt Crowd, and your Wheelman Classic, we're around all these kids, you're around these families, and it takes a village. I know that's a cliche saying, but it does.
No,
and you cheer for them no matter what it is, right?
No, for sure, and I'm finding that out firsthand by pulling the promoter's cap down tight. And I tell you yesterday, we're 12 days away from the race, and my brother, who loves stomping on my nads every chance he gets,
I've got one of them. I've got one of them.
He's always teased me about not having much brain capacity. Well, let me tell you, Greg, I'm about maxed out right now. But back to being surrounded by really good people to help make it happen. I'm so very blessed, and it's not any less stressful than it was when I pulled this stunt off 10 years ago on a much smaller scale. But with that, I rewind back to this spring, and it was almost a come to Jesus moment. You know what? You've been around all these kids for all this time.
Right.
You've gotten to know their parents. You've got a really, really good list of wonderful supporters. I've got Terry Maddox in my corner. I've got Matt Ward in my corner. Do it.
Yeah.
It's time to do it. And so no sooner than I pulled the trigger on it, I'm like, man, I've got X amount of dollars I'm going to have to raise for a purse and pay for the lease at the track and everything. And, dude, I couldn't believe, Randall, it was like within a week and a half's time, I was pretty close to my goal.
Scotty, that's got to make you feel so good.
And
I mean,
let alone being close to, which we're at the goal now, and now I'm starting to think about how we're going to boost the purse a little bit, and this, that, and the other. We'll get into that. But it's just been such a blessing, and I never would have pulled the trigger on it had I not had full faith that you're surrounded by all these people. You have all these kids that are full of talent. You got great relationship with their family. Just do it.
Right.
And you know, there's a little bit of just stepping off the cliff and
100%.
and hoping for the best.
I say that in a lot of different stuff. You know,
Excuse me.
I'm paralysis by overanalysis, right? And at some point, you got to say, hey, what's the worst that could happen? Let's go give it a shot. But to your point, I think when we talked back before about family and the networking and the people, you're surrounding yourself with people want to see you win. To me, that's a real friend, right? Is
and
what are you doing and how can I support you?
And that was something that I never even thought about when I decided to go forward with this. Like, and I found out firsthand, let alone with the supporters that jumped aboard so quickly. But everybody, the feedback I got from all the competitors that were like, hell yeah, we want to come run your race
awesome.
for sure. And to that point, we were just talking about Ryder McCutcheon. Ryder has graduated into the 410s now, and he hasn't driven a micro since one off at the shootout last year. And he told me a couple weeks ago, we were talking, he's like, man, I really wish I could. I was like,
find
yeah,
a ride.
I'd absolutely
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
if you could find a ride as well. Well, by the grace of the way the good Lord works, he got together with Joey Starnes, and he's back in the one-way performance seat for a one-off, and Ryder Mack will be at the Scotty Cook Wheelman Classic.
You heard it here first.
Presented by Rod and Supply, and it's just I'm very, very excited. It's taken it absolutely consumes your brain every waking moment when you bite off something like this to chew,
Sure.
but. I'm eager when the day comes and that final checker flag falls, and I'll be able to breathe a little bit easier knowing that everybody had an awesome time and we had a really, really good show.
Well, and knowing you'll probably give yourself about 24 hours, and then you're going to be working on the next one and how you can make it bigger and better,
well,
right?
you know, to be honest with you, I've been doing this for so long that I don't know that my goofy mug fits the trend of what they're putting on TV now. So I'm just holding on by just sheer experience, I think. And so I'm thinking, coupled with the fact that I've been on the highway for 20 to 25 years and I'm totally over it. And just I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm thinking that maybe in the future I might delve off in doing things like I'm doing right now.
Love it.
A couple of times a year.
Love
and with
it.
that, I've got to send it. Originally when Terry and I started talking about this, we were going to do it at I-44.
Okay.
But we couldn't find a good date this season since he had everything booked out. We started talking about doing something in November. I'm like, that's a little bit too late. The people at Sweet Springs, they're run by a board of directors, and everyone on the board has known for the last couple of years, hey, I'm wanting to do this.
Right.
And they've told me for the last couple of years, when you're ready, let's do it. So
super cool.
I want to send out a very special thanks to Alan and Chris Cuh, Jared King, all the people, Riley Kreisel, all the people on the board of directors at the Sweet Springs Motorsports Park. They were one of my first Tulsa Shootout broadcast partners back in my Racing Boys days for the Tulsa Shootout. And so, and also on weekends off here and there, they've given me the right to, hey, if you want to come on over and make a little extra money on your weekend off, come on over. We'd love to have you. So my relationship with them the last 15 to 20 years, it feels just right that we're going to do this very first Wheelman Classic presented by Rod and Supply at the Sweet Springs Motorsports Park.
Well, and I know it's going to be a great event, but even before we get to that point, it's got to make you feel super, super proud that you decide to do this, and all of a sudden we've got an army of people that want to participate and help you because of everything that you've invested into the sport, the relationships you've made. So that's a testament to how you've held yourself and what you've done for everybody else as well.
Well, the feedback that I got no sooner than I got the ball rolling on it overshadowed my expectations so far as competitor and supporter involvement. And to what you just said, it's like, wow, you step back and you look and you're like, man, it feels so good that all these people are not just half-ass wanting to help you out. They're like, absolutely. We definitely want to be a part of this.
They're getting on the horn and saying, what can we do? Yeah.
With that, it's just, it's crunch time now. We're marking the days off, and I want to send out a very, very special thank you to a couple of folks that are helping me with necessities of putting on a race with trophies and banners. I've got Show Me Dirt Customs out of Marshall, Missouri. Jared and his wife Jared and Heather King are helping me with banners, as well as the Buxton family down in Farmington, Missouri. They're making some banners as well, and the trophies. Randall, they're going to be absolutely.
You already told me they're going to be killer.
Awesome.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's taken a collaborative effort, and with that, I got to send a very special thank you to Belleville, Illinois' Alex Midkiff, and Jonathan Cornell, the past ASCS Warrior Region champion out of Sedalia, Missouri, who powder coated the steering wheels. The trophies are going to be gold steering wheels. So Jonathan Cornell powder coated them, and once I got back from Wichita, I swept through and picked them up from Jonathan in Sedalia the other night, and I got them straight Sunday afternoon to Belleville, Illinois, into Alex Midkiff's hands. He is going to fabricate a base, do some engraving on them, and the fine folks of Show Me Dirt Customs in Marshall are going to add accessories on it. The event logo that you see there.
Right, which is so cool.
I'm very, very excited, and it took a collaborative effort. I didn't want to just have a plastic trophy that you'd want to give away to a fan.
No.
I want somebody that wins this thing. And we're calling it the Wheelman Classic because I have a true appreciation for being able, after all these years, to have a good trained eye on seeing talent.
Yep.
And we haven't.
I don't know if you're saying we're old, but yes, I agree with you.
We're getting there, but we haven't even really hit on this much. But the trend in the era that we have a little bit, but I've never seen it the way it is. The crop of young, talented drivers that there are in micros and midgets now. Add Breckenreese into that equation as well, and just so many others. And that's why, I found myself over the years on broadcast using the term wheelman.
Sure.
And we all know what a wheelman is.
Yes, sir, we do.
A wheelman is going to get up in there and he's going to win it or he's going to wear it.
Yeah.
One of the two.
And that's what we like.
And so, I thought, hey, let's just Scotty Cook's Wheelman Classic. I liked it. And a guy out of the state of California, a legendary cameraman, Steve LaFond, took that photo of the image of the guy standing above the logo there, and I took that image. That original image is of Kevin Thomas Jr. at the Calistoga Speedway after he won a race, and then I turned it over to my good friend Mike Roba with Mike Roba Productions in Jeff City, who mocked it up for me. And then we sent it on to Justin Robinson down in Rockwall, Texas, with Milestone Home Services and Micro Sprint Hub.
Yeah.
He put the finishing touches on that.
I love it.
Rod End Supply wanted to come aboard as the title sponsor, and here we are.
I love it. So if that's KTJ, did you have to kind of raise it up a little bit since he's so short? I mean, did you have to lift it up there a bit?
Actually, the original image was of him standing on the top of the roll cage.
Yeah, okay, it makes sense now.
So we just put the logo on top of from chest down. Yeah, but I think that turned out really cool, man.
Oh, it's super cool.
I
It's super cool.
Everybody that I mentioned that made that possible. For sure.
As soon as I saw it, I thought, man, that's really cool, and I can't wait to see the trophies and see them in person. But just super excited for you. We would have loved to have you on no matter what, but the fact that you're, taking advantage of all your hard work and the people that want to help and assist you and putting this great event on, anything that we can do to help.
We're doing. You're helping right now, 100%.
Well, we'll be there and just super excited for you. I can tell just by talking to you what it means to you and how excited you are. So I know it's going to be a great event.
I'm very excited, and with that, I'd like to take an opportunity to acknowledge some wonderful people. It's not just Rod End Supply or the guys that help make the logo. There have been a slew of people come aboard, whether it be in a very big way or middle of the road or just lap sponsors or whatnot. But Harley Holland with Factory 14 was the first one that stepped up and said, I want to be aboard.
Great guy.
Talked to Mike Dicely during the wintertime at the shootout last year. Told him I was kicking this around with Hyper Racing. He said, let me know when you do it. We want to be aboard. So Factory 14, Hyper Racing, they were the first two aboard. Jake Martin's out in Fairview, Oklahoma with Martin's Machine Shop. Yeah. He was one of the first aboard as well. Corey Ballard with Ballard Products and Ballard-Inc.com for all of your mowing accessories. And
good plug.
I spoke with I spoke a little bit earlier about some of my sponsors that have been around for 20 years. One of my very first sponsors ever that's still been with me to this day, the grandmother of Ayrton Geniton, Miss Nina Geniton, with Ozark Barge and Dock Service.
Yeah, a great family.
She stepped up huge. Ward-worthy promotions, Matt and Ashley Ward and the Tulsa Shootout. Mr. Engler, Tim Engler, a good buddy back home with Albright Heating and Air Conditioning. Dennis Griffin, he owns it. And Jude Allgaier Racing. Kiwi Motorsports, our old buddy Woody's coming aboard.
Love it.
The Stewart House, Centralia, Missouri Micro Sprint Hub. And there are, Joe B. Miller stepped up. Joe B. owns a speed shop back home in Millersville, Missouri. It's called the Speed Shack. So Joe B. got the ball rolling with the trophies. He was the one that ordered the steering wheels right off the bat. So I'm missing a few, but we've been acknowledging them and putting their logos up on the event page, which is Scotty Cook's Wheelman Classic. And I'm just so tickled with all the support we've gotten, and I would have been remiss if I wouldn't have been able to shout these people out, because I am so
100%.
Very blessed to have the support.
Well, and it takes all of them, and it's a testament to you that they jumped on like they did. I know I said that before, but it's got to make you feel really, really proud knowing that everybody's behind you like they are.
No doubt, and even to that, I even had someone throw into the purse in a big way. He wanted to remain anonymous, but I will say he is a former ASCS regional driver from the Beaumont, Texas area that used to drive for Bruce Griffith. And
Not naming any names,
but those who know can narrow it down.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
Buddy, I am so grateful for you as well. And it's just people just like that you've just known for all these years, and they're like, "Oh, you're doing that? Right. Hell yeah, I want to be a part of that."
Love it.
Blessed is all. The only word that comes to my mind is blessed and grateful as well. And I'm just filled with both of those things right now.
And that's, like I said, it's a testament to you. I know it's going to be a great event. Just like these guys that are in our cars that we cheer for, it takes an army, it takes partners, it takes sponsors. Anytime we do anything, and just super proud of you and super excited for you. I know it's going to be a great event.
Absolutely. And I want to remind all the competitors that have committed and that are planning on coming, even ones who are waffling right now, hey, come on up and see us. We're going to have a big night of action. We wanted to start when we pulled the trigger on this. Okay, I agreed with Terry Maddox. Let's start with a baseline now 600 purse for all 4 classes. And those classes will be stock non-wing, restricted, A-class, and junior sprints. And we wanted to start with a standard now 600 purse, but now that we've gotten to the goal and there's some more trickling in, within the next few days, I'm going to get with Terry when we can find time during Speed Week coming up, to get on the same page, and I want to boost this purse up a little bit more. And with that, a shout out to Woody with Kiwi Landscaping, Kiwi Motorsports. Woody threw in some extra money so we can have a 4-car Dash for Cash. It's going to be the Kiwi Dash for Cash.
Love it.
For all 4 divisions. And with
Fantastic.
that, I was stressed a little bit a couple of weeks ago about the car count for the junior sprint division at Sweet Springs is off a tick. By no means is it what we're doing up the way at Port.
Right.
And I can't begin to tell you how tickled I am to know how many junior sprint competitors from Kansas, Illinois, Iowa, some are coming from down here as well. I think we're going to have a solid junior sprint field as well, including your current Factory 14, now 600-point leader, Mr. Wesson Whitaker, who's definitely got the whole social media thing
no
out.
doubt.
Did
no
you
doubt.
see the promo he cut for our event?
Yes.
Calling out Zane's.
Yeah, he's got that down to an art. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
So yeah, I want to thank you guys. Mark, very nice to meet you as well. You guys got it going on here in the studio. So Monday, August 3rd, Scotty Cook's Wheelman Classic presented by Rod and Supply at the Sweet Springs Motorsports Park. Be there or be square. We're going to have a whole lot of fun that night.
Yes, we are. We appreciate it, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so
much.
much,
Super proud
Randall.
of you, and we'll see you then.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, everybody. If you get a chance, obviously you got to make it out there. This is a big event. We're so proud of Scotty, and we know it's going to be a great success. But next Monday, well, no, 2 Mondays away, right? You're on the 3rd of August, correct?
3rd of August,
Yeah.
1 week from this coming Monday. Do you have a Sharpie? I was the first visitor here.
Yeah, we're have to sign something. It's Mark's office, his studio, but we'll sign a light or something. Maybe we'll have it a giveaway at the race. But
thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate it.
My
Thanks
pleasure,
again, Scotty.
For sure.
Thanks everybody for taking the time to listen. And if you get a chance, get out there, go see that. A great event for Scotty, and we'll be back soon and talk to everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you, buddy.
Racers don't slow down, and neither do we. At Factory 14, quality products, proven performance, and unmatched service come together under one roof. Our showroom is packed with everything from junior sprints to sprint cars, all ready for race day. Our race team and development program are shaping the future of this sport. And with professional trackside support across the country, you're never alone, you're part of our team. One team, one standard, always accessible. Factory 14, excellence in every detail.